This weekend we have 3 Army Painter Mega Paint sets up for grabs. Get your comments in on any of the Hobby Weekend live blog posts on beastofwar.com for your chance to win. Hi everybody, we are back for a final tip from the guys from Army Painter. As we all know, the final stage of any army is getting it based. I know Warren and Lloyd have been on to me about it, so I've stopped off with Jonas to actually see how you actually do it and do it well. So Jonas, what are we doing here?
Right. As you said, it's the final bit. We've got the models. They've been primed, they've been base coated, they've been quick shaded, and they've been anti-shine. They're all done apart from the base. The Army Painter basing technique is, you know, in line with the rest of what we do. It's all about speed. So first thing is to color the base. This has been some of the leftovers from the quick shade. So this one is going to be a black grey base. So a bit of matte black paint all over the place. There's no sort of special thing here. Right, just like in Blue Peter, I've got one here that already has been painted.
Here's what we did earlier.
Yeah, one I did earlier. Next thing is taking the PVA, Battlefield's basing glue. Regular PVA, get that out. And I'm using the small dry brush, but any large brush will do. Now the trick here is obviously not to get any glue onto the feet of the skeleton and not any glue down the side of the base, because the rune wall bases sort of needs to fit snugly into the special movement trays. So you don't want any glue down the side here. So while the glue is wet, dip it into this sand, but we call it black battleground. And one of the things is that this is already pre-colored black. So normally when you put on sand, you let it dry and you need to paint the sand. Well, we've already done that. So again, here's one I did earlier, because the PVA takes about an hour to really dry. So the sand now is all on. And then it's time to dry brush. And for these undead ones, we're going to go for a bit of a sickly sort of grey. So instead of using a grey, I'm actually using necrotic flesh. Still using my dry brush. I'm going straight to...
Now what I'm seeing here is actually this is more of an overbrush than a dry brush, because the paint's all still wet.
Yeah, you're right. It is actually. You can, if you do traditional sort of really dry brush, you don't get much of an effect. So I go a bit more heavy on it, because again, with all models here, it's about looking at it from a distance of what, a couple of feet, yeah, for your gaming table.
So you want that nice high contrast.
Yeah. So that was it. And final bit is using the Battlefield tufts.
Yep.
We're using the swamp tufts, so you get the tufts out. And as you can see, there's small, medium, and large. Even though they come with a bit of sort of pre-glue on them, I actually like to fix them with a spot of super glue. I put a line of super glue there, take my plier and pick up a tuft, and just dip it in there.
Ah.
Put it on the base.
And we're done.
And jobs are good.
All right, well, it's very interesting to see how quickly you can just base an army by just doing that. And because you're using all the same stuff, it's always going to start to look coherent. And you don't really need to crowd a base to make it look good. You know, a little bit of the Battlefield Black Earth, one little tuft, that's all you really need, yeah?
Yeah. And if you want, you can mix it up maybe with 2 different tufts. But the trick with tufts, especially in rune walls and on your movement trays, is less is more. Don't overdo it and it will be sort of too crowded. So maybe some of the bases won't even have a tuft on it, but others will have 2 or 3.
All right, well, guys, that is the final tip from the guys at Army Painter. We're going to push on here because people are pushing to finish up their armies and maybe get a game or 2 in. Now, I don't know about you, but a lot of people just seem to be in their Zen mode today, so they're just painting, and painting more. So I don't even know if the guys will actually get time to actually sit down and paint, or sit down and play, just because of the fact that they're painting so much. But we'll come back and let you know how everyone's going a little bit later. This weekend we have 3 Army Painter Mega Paint sets up for grabs. Get your comments in on any of the Hobby Weekend live blog posts on beastofwar.com for your chance to win.